Hey, Disney cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community where we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited for your Disney cruise. You guys know me. I'm Rebecca, your host and admin of the DCL community. And today we are talking about the best way to actually book your Disney cruise, right? You've decided that you want to go on a Disney cruise. But now what? How do you actually get a reservation? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. As you guys are coming in, please say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you have a cruise in mind that you're thinking about. And as people are coming in, Stacy, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Stacy Johnston from Marvelous Mouse Travels, and I'm super excited to be here today and to talk to you about the different ways you can book your cruise.
Yes, because there are so many. I know some people probably think, of the obvious of just going to Disney, but that may not always be the best solution for everybody. So I am excited to be talking through all of those options. And then if you guys have any questions as we're going through, please put those in the comments and we're going to do our best to get to those. But we are going to be talking about all the different ways to book a Disney cruise. So let's go ahead and dive on in. So why should I book my cruise with a travel agent instead of booking online myself?
Yeah, so that's a great question. That's the one that I get the most often. That many of my clients have always historically booked their cruises themselves. And in fact, I recently got a client that has booked 10 cruises on their own and decided to try a travel agent for the first time. And so the question is why, when it's so easy to do it online. Well, a couple of the things that we really recommend is considering, how much time do you have to do your own research? How much are you wanting to spend on the phone? A travel agent, we always say we wait on hold, so you don't have to. Really,
Yeah.
with a travel agent is you get our experience, and so what's really important is when you're starting to vet a travel agent is that you really click with them and your travel agent will actually become a kind of like what seems like a lifelong friend. In fact, I'm Facebook friends with most of my clients, and I follow their birthdays. They get Christmas cards from me. If they get to see my travels, we start to get to know our families and our kids, and so
Yeah.
we start to feel a little bit more like family. And so it's really important that you find someone that you click with.
Yeah.
Rebecca's put together a really great list of preferred travel agents that have been vetted by the Disney Cruise Line community. So you can really reach out to any of those, and you know that they've honestly done their research because they have personally traveled on Disney Cruise Line across the world. I have honestly, personally, cruised all over the world with Disney Cruise Line. Obviously, the Caribbeans, I've been to Alaska before, but I'm going back again in a month and a half with Disney Cruise Line. And I've been all over Europe from Mediterranean to Northern Europe with Disney Cruise Line and been on the different ships, been on different concierge, non-concierge, ocean view. So I can tell you the different locations, what the different cruise ships are like, what the different itineraries are like. And so it's their personal experience that you're not going to get when you book directly. And so it's really important that you find someone that has that experience that you're looking for. And and then in addition to that, most major travel agents will also help you book your flights and your hotels.
Did we? Oh no, Stacy, can you hear me?
Yes, I am so
Okay.
sorry. It got disconnected. So I'm
No,
back, but let me get my video
you
back on.
are good.
Yep.
Technology has a mind of its own
Yes.
sometimes.
So I was just having the best conversation by myself. So, and so we can book your flights, your hotels, your transfers. Additionally, I can personally book your excursions. Now, not all travel agents will do this. So that's
Yeah.
also a question you're going to want to ask your travel agent. There are a lot of travel agents that don't book flights or don't book the hotels. And that is something that I do for my clients just because I want to make their travel experience and planning experience as easy as possible.
Yeah.
And so additionally, because I have been to many of these ports, I can also help you potentially choose excursions that may be outside of Disney. So I book a ton of European. That's actually when the 2025 um, dates came out, I booked, I think, 6 European cruises in a single day. So I book a lot of European cruises because I have, obviously been all over Europe, but then not only been all over Europe, but have cruised all over Europe with Disney. So I know the different excursions that are there. So, for instance, one of the excursions in Disney mentions the Colosseum, but it's actually just visiting the outside of the Colosseum. So if you want to do the inside of the Colosseum, you need to know which excursion to book. And I actually book a lot of private excursions for specifically Rome, just because in order to really have that, personal experience and go inside the Colosseum, see the Vatican, that's really only best done on a private experience. And so I
Mhm.
have my preferred vendors that still guarantee you back arrival at the time, at the ship at the time of departure. So I know
Yeah.
a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm nervous to book outside of of a Disney cruise line or any other cruise line." But we do have preferred vendors that guarantee your arrival back in time. So that's something that having that travel agent will help you figure out.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I think, people forget that there are other ways to do things. And I love what you said about kind of setting that expectation too with your travel agent up front, because not every travel agent is going to be the same. Some will book those onboard experiences or those port adventures, but some won't. Some cruisers want their travel agent to do that and some don't. So it's
Mhm.
good to have those conversations with whoever your travel agent is, even if you're kind of interviewing them of what are the things they're going to handle for you? What are the things they don't handle? I know we got the
Right.
question the other day of, well, my travel agent saying she won't do my check-in for me. I don't understand why. And I'm like, well, I don't know that any travel agent should be signing your cruise contract for you, but
Yes, that
it's
is one
also
of those things that
yeah.
I always explain to my client. I'll do everything else. I will stay up until midnight to help book your Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique, and
Yes.
the pirate makeover. But really, at the online check-in is one of those things that really has to be done by the client because you're scanning your passports, you're taking selfies, you're attesting to your name being correct, and then you've got that, your cruise contract, which is, a legal binding document. So that is definitely not
Yeah.
something that, your travel agent should probably be doing. And so that is definitely something that I do not do for my clients, but I do pretty much everything else from the, booking the onboard activities to the adult dining.
Mhm.
Um, and because I've been on the different cruise ships and I've eaten in the different restaurants, I help them choose, this is a 3-day first time cruise. You know what? You probably, unless it's just an adult only vacation, I'm going to tell them you may not want to book an adult only experience for your very first one. Enjoy the rotational dining, and then, and then for your second cruise or a longer cruise, let's talk about, do you want the brunch experience? What does that look like? And then,
Yeah.
how does the dining experience look like? And what time should I book the dining to make sure I can get to the shows in time? So those are things you aren't going to be able to. I'm sure you could do all the research, and there's a million Facebook logs out there, and to help you choose that, but it is gonna save you a ton of time to work with a well-traveled travel agent, specifically one
Yeah.
that has, is a Disney Cruise Line specialist.
Yeah, and I think that's something people forget about is Disney in itself is a very unique product, but Disney Cruise Line is even more so with how things are run on the ship. So make sure you're having those conversations with your travel agent. And Stacey, question for you. If you have a client who maybe doesn't want you to book all their excursions, they want to do it all themselves. They want you to, wait on hold. They want you to book it and do all the kind of paperwork stuff, but they want to book their own excursions. Is that something they can do?
Yes, absolutely. So the only thing that's really going to change with a travel agent is the fact that you book through me. So we work on your payments and I will process your payments on your behalf. And
Mhm.
so that's really the only thing that truly changes versus booking on your own is in order to submit payments, we need to go through your travel agent. But
Mhm.
if you want to book through the app, any of your excursions, your onboard activities, book online, you can do that all completely on your own. So, a good travel agent can be as involved as you want them to be, or honestly, as hands off as you want them to be. And
Yeah.
sometimes just having that person there in case something goes wrong is really all you want. And, I love to do the planning. I love to get into the app and, book my dining times and book my, my golf simulator times,
Yeah.
and so, that's fun for a lot of people. Absolutely, by all means, go for it.
Right.
I think especially if you're a first-time cruiser, I highly do recommend, though, working with, one of your preferred travel agents just because we have cruised and know the various experiences and know the different types of cruise ships that are gonna meet your itinerary needs, your stateroom needs, and, your financial needs as well too, and looking at when is the best time to sail based off of what your budget is.
Yeah, there's so many factors, and I mean, even, I've been sailing since 1999 with Disney, and I still don't know everything, and my travel agent will say stuff or even, like, you'll say stuff, and I'm like, "You can do that on board? I had no idea that that was even an option." There's so much, and the other thing is it's always changing, especially with Disney
Right.
getting, the new property in the Bahamas. There's gonna be more. The ports are always changing, with the switches of New York and San Diego and New Orleans, trying to stay on top of it, plus all the deals and the promotions, like, it's a lot to juggle, so let the professional do it. Stacey and I were talking before, but, like, we used to book directly through Disney, and then we booked through a big box store, but ever since we changed to a travel agent, I will never go back. It is the best thing ever. It's like having a best friend to plan all your vacations with, but you don't have to do any of the work. It's great.
It is great, and it's literally just a text away and saying, "Hey, can you process payment?" So I do have a lot
Yes.
of clients that are on payment plans, and I have a client that pays $265 every 2 weeks for her treasure cruise, and so, yep, sure, I'll keep processing those payments, and magically
Yeah.
it will be paid off by the final payment date. So
Yes.
it's a great way to build that relationship with your clients.
Yes, there's so much value to working with a travel agent because you might not know that the room you're looking at is right above the kids club, or maybe you are more sensitive to motion sickness, or Stacy's a mom of three, so knowing what staterooms fit a family of five. There's all these intricacies that you might not be thinking about, and I cannot tell you how many times cruisers come back from their first Disney cruise and are like, I had no idea that this was a thing. I had no
Yeah,
idea that I could even do this. I didn't know I could book stuff ahead of time, and it always breaks my heart a little bit because I'm like, if you work with a travel agent, that might be a conversation that you had. So I know I'm going long here, but there's so much value, and
there
it's value that doesn't cost you anything more, right?
There is, exactly. It's completely free. So the way travel agents work is the commission is built into the cost of the cruise. And so if you are booking directly, you're paying for a service that you're not receiving. And so you're paying for a travel agent, but not getting the benefit of one. And so if you book with me, it's the exact same price. If you do cost comparison side by side, it'll be the exact same cruise price. But also, I will monitor for any promos. So it doesn't really happen in Disney very, very often where a cruise will, be a promo might apply, but on occasion it will, and we can see if the promo will apply to your cruise. But definitely that, like, if we do a land and sea package and we book Disney before the promos come out, I will always go back and retroactively apply the promos for free without you even asking. I'll just say, oh, the new promos have
Awesome.
dropped. And so, so for my land and sea packages, that definitely saves my clients a ton of money.
Yeah.
Other cruise lines do drop promos a little bit more often, like Royal Caribbean is famous for the kids sail free dropping. And so then I'll go back in and apply that promo to my cruisers that are happening during that time. So a good travel agent will always monitor for any new deals that are coming out that can already be applied to your reservation without even being asked. And again, totally free, but not only that. So let's not even say there's any promos. Let's just say straight price booking directly versus booking with me. Again, same price. But I also offer onboard credit. So that's something else you'll want to ask your travel agent. Not all travel agents offer it. I do because it's a way of thanking you for your trust in me and for booking with me. So
Mhm.
I essentially give you a portion of my commission that I receive. And so you'll receive that onboard credit as soon as you get on board. And you just look in your amount and look in your account and you'll see how much we have. And I always pre-establish that ahead of time so you know how much you'll be getting. And it's really based off of the cost of the cruise. So if you're in this bracket of cost, you get this amount of onboard credit and so on and so forth. And so
Yeah.
so it's actually going to save you money by booking with me, or probably most travel agents you can ask about onboard credit.
And we do have the question, what actually is onboard credit? What can you use it
Yes.
for?
So you can, if you haven't already paid for your gratuities, you can use it for gratuities. It's just extra money in your account that I put in, and they will draw from the onboard credit first. So let's say you have $100 in onboard credit, and your gratuities were, let's call it $60. They'll take $60 out for gratuities, and then you have $40 left for a game of bingo. And
Yeah.
so, like, call it a day. I'll buy your bingo, or I'll buy you a round of drinks, or even $100 pays for brunch for two at Palo. So
Yeah.
why not?
Absolutely. And I always think it's important to know, the onboard credit, it's so appreciated, but you should never choose, and I know we're going to get into it, you should never choose a travel agent or an agency or big box store, whoever, simply because of the amount that you're getting. Have it
Correct.
be because of the things that we're talking about, the service, the knowledge, the experience. I would never book a vacation with someone who's never taken that vacation before, right? Like, booking a Disney cruise with someone who's never been on a Disney cruise, just because they're offering all this money,
Right.
proceed with caution. So,
Exactly.
make sure that everything else is aligned. And if a travel agent does want to offer onboard credit, again, that's coming out of their commission, their paycheck. And again, you are not paying anything extra to work with them. So it should, I always hate when people make it like a negotiating point, because it should be about the relationship that you have with your travel agent,
Exactly.
and we're in this space, it's a professional space. I hate to see people have it come down to that number. And I know I'm rambling here, but it should be about that relationship that you have with your travel agent first and foremost. Um,
Exactly.
should we go
And
ahead and talk about, oh
yeah.
my gosh, yes, hold times.
Yes, and so it was interesting on the Disney Cruise Line community chat. We did see, I did see when the 2025 dates were released, that there were hold times of up to 5 hours for booking those itineraries. But if so, different travel agents work for different companies, and I work for a platinum earmark Disney preferred agency, and so we have our own Disney Platinum line. That stands for Disney Travel Agents Platinum, and so these are just some screenshots to show actual hold times. And I have been on hold, up to 4 hours for various reasons. And so it might be, maybe we're booking multiple cruises. Maybe I'm linking, a group. And especially if you're going to work with groups, you definitely want to work with a travel agent, because
Mhm.
the logistics of linking those rooms, and then you want to link them for dining, but then you have to sometimes unlink them so that they can book their excursions through the app, and then you got to link them back again. And so it's actually a little bit of work, and so it might take a few hours for us to work together with the Disney travel agency. And so
Yeah.
I work directly with them. And because we have this platinum support line, should anything go wrong, if you need to cancel, if you need to rebook, I will also work on your behalf to have the best experience that we can. So I've had clients that just couldn't make the cruise. And so I worked with Disney on getting them rescheduled. I've had people who um, didn't, my job is to make sure you don't miss the final payment date. I actually have neighbors that they found out that they were booked directly, and then they missed their final payment date, and so they lost their deposit, and they lost their stateroom, because it cancels actually at 2 in the morning if you miss your final payment date,
Oh,
and it will
wow.
release the room. And if you don't realize, that room can get booked by 9 o'clock. And so,
Wow.
so it's just, a good travel agent is there for you. We're there to help you plan, and that's the fun part. But we are more importantly, we're there should anything go wrong.
Yeah.
Illnesses in your family, rescheduling, changing your stateroom categories, that we do all of that so you don't have to wait on hold to do that.
Yes, I was gonna say those hold times are no joke, especially when the new itineraries open up. But we had somebody the other day who had an emergency surgery situation happen. The last thing that she wanted was to be on hold from the hospital with Disney, and our travel agent was able to handle all of it. So
Right.
it's the good and the bad and everything in between.
Exactly. All right. So here's the one that I get the most is, but I can find this price better on, my big box store. And, it's chances are it's going to be less expensive. I mean, these are usually loss leaders for those big box stores. And so you may get a slightly lower price tag. And the way they typically do it is the price will be the same, but they will give you a gift card for their store. So they want you to come back in and do additional shopping in their store. So they're putting, again, money kind of back into their pockets, but it will also come with a lower level of service. So when you are booking through a big box store, chances are you may have to wait on hold, or even if you book through them directly, and should something go wrong, if you call, you're going to get a completely different person. So you're having to explain the
Mhm.
situation again, and then you'll be put on hold, and then you'll have to be connected to someone else. Whereas you just work with me. And so my job is to be the one to get connected to guest services and to speak to the different, departments and, customer relations. And so, I personally will try to price match as best as I can. And that might mean meeting them halfway, but I usually can't completely price match with the big boss stores. But the question is, now it's a $200 difference. Is that worth it for you to, have booked with someone that's never been on a Disney cruise or has never been to Europe or to Alaska?
Mhm.
And again, because we are that earmarked platinum producer, I have direct connections with Disney Cruise Line and our other major cruise lines, and with Walt Disney World. So I can be that person for you to do that connection, to make any changes, to make payments, to push your reservation out, 6 months, whatever you need to do, I am here for you.
Yeah.
So it might be slightly higher than going through one of these big box stores, but I will provide a higher level of service, by literally, honestly assisting you with every aspect of your planning, from the insider tips and tricks from my own personal experiences to being there should anything go wrong. And as I mentioned previously, I will even stay up until midnight to try to for your bibbity bobbity boutique for you. And not many travel agents will do that, but I do that for my clients just because if that's something that they're passionate about, then I will try to get them, for them as well too.
Yeah, this one definitely hits home for me because we did, between booking directly with Disney and now we did book with a big box store. And I cannot tell you the number of negative experiences because you get somebody who doesn't really know the product, really know what's going on. And then you're on hold with them while they're on hold with Disney. And it's just, it can be chaotic. And especially if you're in the middle of something going wrong. So I think, and Stacey, you let me know if this is your advice too, but if all that matters to you is the money and you want to do absolutely everything on your own, then okay, this might make
Yeah,
sense.
right.
But if you need or want any sort of guidance, any sort of friendship, anyone to bounce ideas off of, you can't necessarily call up and say, hey, in my family, I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. Are we going to have more fun on the Eastern or Western Caribbean?
Right.
Having those personal experiences traveling on board, like that is priceless. And, like I said earlier, ever since we made the change over to a travel agent, being able to text my agent and be like, hey, is this excursion a good one? Priceless, priceless.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is. I just set today for an hour with a client of mine, first time cruiser. They're doing a 7 night Western Caribbean and they have a 5 year old. So having a 5 year old, you're limited in what excursions you can do. And so we talk through which ones are going to be best for them. And we met for about an hour today to talk through, okay, these are the ones I recommend. But if you want to consider this, here's something to consider. Do is that something that you're willing to look at, or what else can we do? For instance, they were planning on doing something different than Grand Cayman, and Grand Cayman than the stingrays. And they said, we're animal people. And I said, well, the stingrays are a little overwhelming because they're huge. And so
Yeah.
swimming with these 5 foot, 6 foot stingrays, but it is what the Grand Cayman Islands are known for. And so, if you love animals, I highly recommend Stingray City. And our girls were just turning 6 when we went. So,
Oh,
again, I think that's a great age, of when we went for the first time. So I think that's a great age to do that. So again, having that personal touch, having that personal experience, and then having a variety of ages, because now we've been doing this for 20 years. And so
yeah.
we started, my girls are 20, turning 21 in Europe on our Disney cruise this summer in Europe. So it's, amazing. So they
Yeah.
grew up on a Disney cruise. And I did see, I had, there's a question in that I do not book just Disney. I am also, I book all major cruise lines. I'm platinum on Royal Caribbean in terms of my own personal experience. In fact, we just got off the Icon of the Seas, which was
Yeah.
amazing. Um,
Yeah.
and then I book a ton of Carnival, Celebrity. Um, I do Viking River cruises. And so it honestly, yes, I book them all. So, um,
I
and
was gonna
what's
say,
really,
reach out
yeah,
and definitely get Stacey's opinion on the different cruise lines because depending on what your family is interested in, there may be one that's better than another for you guys.
yeah, exactly. So I haven't cruised Celebrity. That was one of the questions. We have an agency of 300 agents, and I have a ton of clients that have cruised Celebrity. It's mostly just with the timing of when I can cruise. Again, having a family of 5, it's usually summer and spring break, and so they want to do kind of the big ticket cruises. And so we're doing, Disney, Alaska, Icon of the Seas. But my clients love Celebrity. And so I think that's definitely one that, if you're interested, we can talk about that as well too.
Yeah,
And
and I also see the
yeah,
question about what about booking with AAA? What are the differences there?
it's kind of the same thing. So AAA, I don't know that you'll get as reduced price as you would with some of these big box stores, but they may offer a little bit of a discount. But chances are if you book with AAA, you're also going to get someone that has not cruised before, or at least at this level of cruising, or has been to the destinations that you are planning on going. In fact, one of my clients is a AAA employee, and
Oh, wow.
she rather book with me than with AAA, just because same thing. She's like, I call and no one picks up. And so
Oh,
it's just, I rather just work, with someone that is just a call or a text
I
away.
was gonna say, and meanwhile, you're texting me back on your vacation. So, oh
Yeah.
gosh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's so
Um,
fun. And then
yeah,
I saw another question in here about a 3-day cruise. Absolutely. So I think that's a great place to start. We started with 3-day cruises with Disney, and then that's when we fell in love. And then we've done, as I mentioned, all the 7-day cruises, and but we still do a lot of 3-day. I'm fortunate I live in Florida, so it's just a drive away.
yeah,
But we are doing, if anyone wants to join us, we're doing a Halloween on the High Seas and the Magic. I'll be doing the concierge, checking out the Magic concierge. I've done other concierge staterooms, and so we'll be checking out the Magic, and we're going to be checking out Lighthouse Point. So super excited about that. So just gonna see the new island. So and I saw that someone mentioned that as well too. So really
yeah.
excited. And I think the 3-day cruises, they always feel like not enough, but it gives you a taste and you're like, yeah, I definitely want to cruise again.
Yes, it is the gateway cruise to the addiction. And I know we mentioned a couple of times like it might look like a discount pricing, but it's not really a discount, right? Because nobody can discount Disney's cruises, right? It's
Right.
just that
Right.
credit you're getting back, which is the same thing you can provide, but you're with
Exactly.
you're getting the service on top of it.
Right, exactly. So it's how
Good.
much onboard credit, so to speak, that you'll be getting from these kind of big box stores, and they will give you more, but they're going to give you it in the form of a gift card back to that store. And whereas
Yeah.
mine is actually true onboard credit, which goes towards bingos and drinks and all sorts of good
I
stuff
was
on
gonna say,
cruise.
yes, not just toilet paper.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
uh, and we have a couple of questions about transferring placeholders. So if somebody is watching right now and they're like, shoot, I booked on my own, or maybe I booked with a travel agent who just doesn't know anything about Disney cruises,
Yeah.
can I transfer a future reservation to you? How does that work and when do I have to do it by?
Yeah, so there's some logistics with it. The answer is yes, you can transfer placeholders. And so if you've booked the placeholder on your own through, the Disney Cruise app, within 30 days, you can definitely transfer a placeholder to me or any of the preferred travel agents. Again, you want to make sure you click with someone. I would love to be your travel agent, but you have 30 days to do it. And it's super easy. I have DocuSign. There's a form I would honestly fill out for you. All you have to do is just sign it. Once that form gets signed, then I can send it to Disney on your behalf. So I make
Mhm.
it as easy on you as possible, but you only have 30 days from the time of booking, not even from the time of, your last date on the cruise. Um,
Yeah.
Now, if you've booked a placeholder through another travel agent, that becomes a logistically stickier situation because, travel agents, we try to look out for each other. And so if you weren't super happy with your travel agent, you can officially transfer it back to Disney within the 30 days, but logistically, not really to another travel agent. But I will tell you, I have booked with others who have booked a placeholder with either with Disney Direct and it was past the 30 days. And I did their flights and hotels. I helped them with their excursions. And so, just because ideally I'd love to do the cruise with you, but I look at my relationships with my clients as a long-term thing. And so even if this cruise is just your flights and hotels, then next time you book a placeholder, you'll book it and we'll make sure that my name gets associated to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's really about that long-term relationship. I've been doing this for 4 years now, and just making sure that we develop that friendship and we work together and we meet your needs. And I know that now I have clients that are just repeat client. Most of my clientele is actually repeat clients. I don't
Yeah.
advertise. I really only work on client referrals from within my clients or just my repeat clients for the most part.
Yeah. Well, that speaks so much to your level of service. And, if you've never cruised before, so when you're in your Disney Cruise Line app, once you're on the ship, it's going to look different than how it looks right now. And on that home screen, right in the middle in the center, it's going to say save 10% on your next cruise. And that's where you book the placeholder. And there are some blackout dates, and you can't use them on, concierge or, like the opening itineraries, maiden voyages, and stuff like that. But if you book that placeholder, go ahead as soon as you do it. You can, I think it's step 2 or 3 where you can send it to your travel agent. So you could
Correct.
just go ahead and put Stacy's email, it's right there on screen. Take a screenshot right now. But you can go ahead and send that or just set a reminder on your phone for the day you get off the ship to check with your travel agent and get that transferred because that is a strict deadline and you don't want to miss it.
Right.
And it's a great way to save money on a future sailing. And I cannot tell you guys how many people reach out wanting to transfer their placeholders and it's 6 months later.
Mhm.
And there's nothing we can do to help until the next time you sail.
I know. And like I
Oh,
said, I usually will then say, okay, well, what else can I do for you? And so
yeah.
let's look at your flights and hotels. And then just they say, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Well, I want you to book with me next time," you know? And
Yeah.
so this is, again, it's a long-term relationship. It's a long-term friendship. And like I said, I send all my clients Christmas cards each year just
Yeah.
because
That's
I just,
awesome.
and then we become Facebook friends and I see their families grow up. And one thing, and it's really important, and I think it's on the next slide.
Oh,
When
yes.
you choose someone, you want to ask, especially at the big box stores, have you ever been? Have you been on this cruise line before? How frequently have you booked? So, as I mentioned, I've never been on Celebrity, but I could book Celebrity in my sleep. And so, I've done all the room tours and I'm trained in Celebrity. In fact, I was Royal for our agencies, one of Royal Caribbean's top sellers. So, these are things that you get to do and you go to the proper training. So even if I haven't necessarily been on that particular cruise line, I chances are I've been to the destination. So
Yeah.
my parents were travelers, so I grew up traveling and, been all over Europe, Iceland, the Mediterranean cruises, British Isles, Alaska, Caribbean. We've done Adventures by Disney. So if that's something you're interested in, I can help, do a land and sea package with Adventures by Disney and a Disney cruise. I have a couple of those. Africa, I've been on safari, I've been to Asia, and of course,
Wow.
Walt Disney World. If y'all remember, I got married there, and Disneyland,
Yeah.
and then concierge and non-concierge, and as well as I've been on most other major cruise lines.
Yeah, it's so important to work with someone who's been there and done that. And, again, the fact that Stacy is a mom of 3, knowing how to traveling on your own is one thing, traveling with kids is a whole other story. So those tips and tricks, like you were saying before, it just makes a difference with car seats and booster seats and nursery
It does.
times. And oh my gosh, there's so many moving parts when it comes to traveling with kids. But
Exactly.
I love this, supporting a small business. So
Yeah.
cool.
This is my biggest takeaway, and especially when it comes to, booking directly or, booking with a big box store. So the cruise price itself is gonna stay the same. The difference is the quality of service that you're gonna receive and the fact that you're supporting a small business. And so, um, at the end of the day, your business means the world to me and my family. And so it helps me put food on the table. It helps me take my family on, vacations. It helps pay for college. I've got girls that are in college and that's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
And I read this quote yesterday when I was putting these slides together, and I love this one. And so when you buy from a small business, you're not helping a CEO buy a third vacation home. You're helping a little girl get dance lessons, a little boy get his team jersey, a mom put food on the table, a dad pay a mortgage, or student pay for college. And so helping that small business is so important. And just having that working relationship with your travel agent and just helping them, build up their business is just so important. When I know you could be booking directly, just as easily. It's easy. Online. I do all my banking online, but this
Yeah.
allows for someone to, do it for you on behalf of you and support you in the journey from start to finish, from planning to you get back home and now you've got a place order. What should we do next? But more important, just, knowing that you're supporting a family by supporting the small business. It's just such a wonderful feeling. So that $200 difference from that big box store that could be going towards, someone's family. And so that's I think, just think of it as like your little gift to the world.
Yeah. No, I love that so much. And for you guys who don't know, I'm actually a small business owner myself. So it it does mean the world, and getting to support a small business for quite literally $0 more for the cost of your cruise. And, I've said it, my travel agent has become a friend, right? I can text, I can call whenever, and we can just chat through. And having someone to plan it with you, so all the stress of planning a vacation is not falling on your shoulders. You're working full time, you're a parent full time, all of these other things. And I get it. Like, I'm a super planner. I love planning, but not having to plan it all on my own and have the pressure of, is this the best excursion? Are my kids going to have a good time? Or is it overrated and I'm paying for something that I shouldn't?
Right.
It just makes the whole experience so much more magical. And I know that's super cheesy for me to say, but it's so, so true. So if you guys have any questions, if you want to get started planning with Stacy, that's the link to her page on the DCL community website. I'll get this in the comments for everybody as well. But as you guys can tell, there's no wrong way to book a Disney cruise. You can book it in a number of different ways. The only wrong way is to not book it at all, in my opinion.
Right.
But having that relationship and having that support, like you were saying before, it makes all the difference. Go on the cruise. You can always book with a travel agent this time, and if it's not your cup of tea, you don't have to do it again next time, or book it
Right.
on your own. Right? Like you're not going to be locked in forever and ever. But Stacy, this was so much fun. I know I've always learned a lot from you. So thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you all for joining us. We will see all y'all on board real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.